Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Madness here on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Ghoul MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio, and we are gonna start the show right now. However, guys, we do have to talk about another death in the world of professional wrestling that went down just yesterday on Valentine's Day. And this one was somewhat of a significant death. This one was Jerry Jarrett. Many of you guys know is the father of professional wrestler Jeff Jarrett and was the pioneer and actually the one that actually brought us NWA TNA wrestling. He was the man that brought Impact Wrestling to the world. And unfortunately, yesterday, Jerry Jarrett passed away at the age of 80 due to cancer in the esophagus. That was kind of more or less what we had. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers are with the Jarrett family. This was not a thing that we wanted to talk about. However, it is what we had. He was survived by 4 children, his daughter Jennifer, Jerry Jr., Jeff, and we already know, and Jason Jarrett. It was a very sad turn of events, and he did a lot in professional wrestling. When he first started, he started his wrestling career all the way back in 1965, then retired in 1988. But then after, his professional wrestling career, like I said, he created the Colonial Wrestling Association, the CWA. That was from 1977 to 1989. But then he also was a part of the United States Wrestling Association from 1989 to 1995. But it was his creation of NWA TNA that later became Impact Wrestling that most people knows Jerry Jarrett for. And with that said, that was the moment that changed everything that we knew about professional wrestling. Jerry Jarrett is without a doubt one of the most recognizable figures in the landscape of professional wrestling.
For a moment here, we have lost good old MF Michael Fletcher. You might have hit a wrong button or something. All right, there's MF now. All right.
Sorry, guys, I hit the wrong button there. But with that said, it was a major loss for us all. And our thoughts and prayers are, like I said, with the Jarrett family. There's really nothing more to add here. Anthony Florio, this man was a very integral part of the foundation for what Impact Wrestling is. You are known really well because you cover Impact Wrestling as part of your Tony's Take on every Monday night for Ridiculously Raw. What is your thoughts on this? Jerry Jarrett, the pioneer, the man that brought us NWA TNA, and then later, consequently, what became Impact Wrestling. Unfortunately, he passes away at the rightful age of 80 years old.
Yeah, very sad day in the world of professional wrestling. One of the most well-known names in the history of professional wrestling, no question about that. And of course, it was him and his son Jeff Jarrett who were the brainchilds behind Impact Wrestling. Well, of course, when it first started, it was known as Total Nonstop Action Wrestling through the NWA, and they had the NWA Heavyweight Championship, the Sweet Charlotte, as they call it, and he was very instrumental in that. And he has gotten so much love on social media anybody who's anybody in the world of professional wrestling has offered prayers and condolences and shared some great memories of Jerry Jarrett. And I saw a lot of TNA guys on there, guys like Frankie Kazarian, Cowboy James Storm, the Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels, among many. And of course, Dutch Mantel, who we all best remember as Zeb Coulter. He had some words about it. Almost every wrestling promotion paid their respects to Jerry Jarrett in some way, including WWE, as well as AEW, the new NWA, obviously. And I know every wrestling promotion around the world is feeling the death of Jerry Jarrett. And before he was more well known as a promoter, but he actually was a wrestler. And he actually had a halfway decent wrestling career. He, in the Continental Wrestling Association, was a one-time CWA World Tag Team Champion with Tojo Yamamoto. And then in 2009 was inducted into the NWA Hall of Fame. And then in NWA Mid-America, he was an NWA Mid-America Tag Team Champion with George Goulas, a 10-time co-holder. Listen to that, 10-time co-holder of the NWA Southern Tag Team Championship Mid-America version, 5 times with Tojo Yamamoto, 4 times with Jackie Fargo, and 1 time with Johnny Marlin. And then he and Jackie Fargo were 1-time Mid-America version NWA World Tag Team Champions. Co-holder of the NWA Tennessee Tag Team Championship and Southeastern Championship Wrestling with George Goulas. In the United States Wrestling Association, he was inducted into the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame in 1994. And then in 2018 was inducted into the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame. So those are the accomplishments that he had. After he stepped away from professional wrestling, he operated a construction company and an international television distribution company. And of course, I best remember him from his days with NWA TNA, May 9th of 2002. Well, actually, it was after the sale of WCW to the WWE and the bankruptcy of ECW. The North American professional wrestling industry lacked a viable competitor to the WWE, which Jerry and Jeff Jarrett attempted to fill with the formation of NWA TNA. And that all went into motion on May 9th of 2002. The Jarretts announced the formation of J Sports and Entertainment, JSE, the parent company of NWA TNA. And then, of course, June 19th, 2002, that's when it all came together. And they had their first show, and that's when they had the weekly pay-per-views that you would pay $10 a week to see. And then in October of 2002, JSE sold a 72% controlling interest in NWA TNA to Panda Energy, and Jerry Jarrett remained part of the management team until departing in late 2005 over a dispute about the direction of the company. And then in October of 2005, Jarrett introduced professional wrestler Oleg Prudius to World Wrestling Entertainment. And Prudius was hired by WWE and wrestled for them under the name, I think you remember this one, Vladimir Kozlov, the Moscow Mauler. And a little known story, I didn't even know this. Sean Waltman on his Twitter, when he was paying respects to Jerry Jarrett, do you guys remember January the 10th of 94, that Monday Night Raw, when Sean Waltman, when he was the 1-2-3 Kid, he teamed up with Marty Jannetty, and they actually won the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Championship from the Quebecers for that little 2-week run they had with them? Jerry Jarrett actually was the brainchild behind that idea, according to Sean Waltman. And I'm like, whoa, Jerry Jarrett had a say in that? Wow. So I guess he's the reason why Kid and Jannetty had that 2-week run with the WWF Tag Team Championship when they beat the Quebecers, before the Quebecers took the belts back prior to the Royal Rumble that year right here in Providence. But anyways, I'm definitely grateful for all that Jerry Jarrett did for the professional wrestling industry, and especially Impact Wrestling, of course, which is, I think, they're operating right now at the best I think they've ever operated at, and I know tomorrow night it's going to be I know that show is already taped, but they're going to do the graphic. They'll do the in memory of Jerry Jarrett, obviously, and I'm sure they're going to share some stories about it. And they have an event coming up 9 nights from now on the 24th. No Surrender. That's going to be on Impact Plus and Fight TV and all of those. And I'll have an exclusive preview of that show this Monday night in a special Tony's Take on Ridiculously Raw. But nonetheless, if not for this man, if not for Jerry Jarrett, Impact Wrestling wouldn't be where it is, wouldn't be what it is or where it is today. And my thoughts, prayers, and condolences to not only Jeff Jarrett but also the rest of the Jarrett family, Jennifer, Jerry Jr., Jason, and what warmed my heart. I mean, Jeff and Jerry Jarrett were estranged for 10 years. From 2005, after disputes about the running of NWA TNA, 10 years later in 2015, they reconciled. And, of course, wife Deborah Marlin, prayers out to her as well. And not only out to the Jarrett family, but also to his friends and all who were fortunate enough to work with him or for him when it comes to NWA TNA and all the other promotions that he had a hand in. And as I always like to do, to Jerry Jarrett, we simply say thank you for the memories. Thank you for the inspiration. And most of all, we thank you for Jerry Jarrett. And thank you, sir, for giving us Impact Wrestling. And I know he's got to be very proud, and I'm sure he will forever be proud of everything he did for that organization. And I'm sure he's proud of the way it's being ran now over 20 years later. So we thought it wouldn't last long, but here they are 20 years later, and I think they're doing the best they've ever done. So not much more for me to say here. So Michael Bullock, come on in. Jerry Jarrett passing away, 80 years old, the father of Double J, Jeff Jarrett, of course. Of course, if not for this man, there never would have been an NWA TNA or an Impact Wrestling as it's now known as.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, Jerry Jarrett was responsible for making what NWA is, what TNA, and what Impact Wrestling is. I mean, who knows where these companies would be if it weren't for Jerry Jarrett? But maybe they wouldn't even exist. But I mean, a lot of people definitely, a lot of superstars work for him, and yeah, I mean, I'm sure he was definitely proud of his son Jeff Jarrett for what he's done in his wrestling career. So, but anywho, I mean, you guys pretty much said everything. I mean, our thoughts, prayers, and condolences go out to Jeff Jarrett, to the rest of the Jarrett family, and to all those friends who knew him or even worked for him. So, Godspeed, rest in peace, Jerry Jarrett. And with that being said, Fletch, let's get into something that he would always love, and that is talk about wrestling.
Yes, indeed, and we are going to do that right now, starting it off with NXT. The first fight of the night was Tyler Bate versus Grayson Waller, and when it was all said and done, it was Tyler Bate winning the match in 11 minutes and 56 seconds. Solid opener. Good match, good solid fight, good battle to say the very least, and there's really nothing more to say. So I give this about maybe 3 stars. Like I said, it was a good, hard wrestling match, and nothing more to say. So Anthony, it's yours.
3.25 to 3.5. This was a great opener, one of NXT's best in recent months. Tyler Bate is an unreal athletic performer who can make anyone better, and Grayson Waller held up his end while playing to the crowd with his signature smarmy attitude. Given the big strong boy remains a staunch defender of Shawn Michaels, and the arrogant Aussie will not stop antagonizing HBK, this should only be the first match of this rivalry. Bate ducked the return cutter, flipping off the ropes into a clothesline. the big strong boy planted Waller with an airplane spin slam. Then Waller responded with a running unprettier for a near fall. A loudmouth heel called for sweet chin music, but he ran into Bop and Bang, followed by a super kick from Bate for a near fall. And then after the match was over, Grayson Waller had another altercation. He got into it with Shawn Michaels afterward in the gorilla position until HBK told the production team to go to commercial. So, and then HBK proceeded to throw Waller out of the building along with Matt Bloom, best known as Albert and Tensai. So, for those who are wondering who that is. So, 3 1/4, teetering on 3 1/2. You could easily make an argument for fight of the night on this one if you wanted to. That's how good it was. One of the best openers on NXT in recent months. So not much more for me to say. Michael Bullock, great start. Great start for your show last night there. But then again, it's Tyler Bate. What else do you expect?
Yeah, when you got Tyler Bate in there, I mean, you know a match is definitely going to be good. So 3 1/4, 3 1/2. I'm with you on this one, Florio. I mean, yeah, of course, Grayson Waller being the arrogant Aussie. I mean, obviously, he's continued to have a problem with Shawn Michaels, and so much so after the match. I mean, he antagonized Shawn Michaels, calling him that he's ignorant and that. Well, first off, let me tell you something, Grayson Waller. If it weren't for people like Shawn Michaels, you wouldn't even be in this business right now. So for you to totally disrespect this man, who is, shall we say, a 2-time Hall of Famer, if memory serves me correctly, and for you to do that, I'll tell you what, the last thing you want to do is challenge someone like Shawn Michaels. I mean, yes, he's up there in age, but all it takes is one sweet chin music and your lights and your show, Grayson Waller, will be over. So nothing more to say. It is yours, Fletch.
All right. Next up we did have was, let's do it. Now on her own, as many of you guys know, last week, Toxic Attraction did split up, and JC Jane cut it a promo, basically saying that she literally called Gigi Dolan the Marty Jannetty of the group, and on top of that, basically said that she was no longer going to be the third wheel of Toxic Attraction. Obviously, we all know the big star from Toxic Attraction was Mandy Rose, and Gigi Dolan got a lot of love. And even the NXT universe was saying Gigi's better. Well, I guess we'll wait and see on that. I think the jury's out to lunch. But if you wanted to go by the fans' reaction, they're picking Gigi over JC. I don't know. I think that remains to be seen. But Anthony Florio, it is yours. I'd say solid promo by JC Jane now that she's on her own and no longer has Gigi Dolan or Mandy Rose basically backing her up.
Well, I'm going to be the man who tells it like it is, MF. And when I say that, you know there's constructive criticism coming. I agree this was a fine promo, but in my opinion, it did not do enough. It did not do enough to make JC Jane out to be the star NXT wants her to be. I think she's trying too hard rather than coming off natural as a heel. Gigi Dolan, meanwhile, has a chance to take the ball if her first babyface promo in response makes a bigger impact. NXT is clearly fully behind both women, and they need to be able to capitalize on that spotlight. So, and then later in the night, Indy Hartwell warned JC Jane that she would not get to the top of the card without going through her. So JC Jane and Indy Hartwell are going to go one-on-one on NXT next week. So keep an eye out for that. So fine promo, yes, but it just didn't do enough for me, if I'm going to be honest. So with all that being said, Michael Bullock, a solid, fine first heel promo for JC Jane, but like I said, it didn't really do enough for me, and we'll have to wait and see what happens whenever Gigi Dolan's ready to come back.
Yeah, I'm with Florio on this one. I mean, it was a good first heel promo, but it really didn't do much for me. I mean, I need to see more out of her, especially when Gigi Dolan comes back. I mean, for me to take her seriously, because I think Gigi Dolan has a better chance of taking the ball and running with it. So we'll see what happens as the time goes on. But a good first heel promo, but sorry, it didn't. Or what's the one thing you've always said, Anthony Florio? Uh, when it comes to your idol,
My idol.
Bret Hart.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The I know it's not the best there is. Not that stuff.
It's
Enlighten me
Bret
further.
Hart. Bret Hart not impressed.
Not impressed. Yes, and I don't impress easy.
Yeah, I'm kind of with the same thing. Bret Hart not impressed. That's why I was trying to go for Anthony. So yeah, so we'll wait and see. I mean, so there's really nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We'll wait and see how it plays out. All I know is that it's going to be one thing for sure. It's going to be real interesting to watch. Um, there's really nothing more to add there. But like I said, I liked it. I thought it was really good. Um, look, and from what I've been told, a lot of people are a lot more higher and feels a lot more stronger about JC Jane than Gigi. But obviously, we got to wait and see. We'll see how it plays out. But at the end of the day, you know, things will happen and we'll see how it plays out. All we know is that one thing will lead to another and we'll see how it goes. So, um, then after that, we did have was Tiffany Stratton versus Thea Hale. Tiffany Stratton did indeed win the match. 3 minutes and 26 seconds. We don't really need to talk about this one more than anything else. Then we had was Axiom versus Damon Kemp. Axiom winning the match in 3 minutes and 31 seconds. Again, another short matchup. We don't really need to go there. Then we had NXT champion Braun Breaker cutting a promo, only to be interrupted by Indashir and Jinder Mahal. Well, they started talking, and guys, we have ourselves an NXT championship match next week, as it will be Braun Breaker putting the NXT title on the line, and he's going to be going up against Jinder Mahal. Can you believe this? Anthony and Bullock, I know you're not liking this one bit. I know you're very critical of Jinder Mahal, and I know you really kind of, I guess you could say, kind of second guess his body of work and everything else. You definitely despised him as WWE champion. Is it? I know it probably is not going to happen, but Jinder Mahal getting an NXT title match? Oh, I know you guys are going to have
No,
a few vocal words with this.
no, 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 honey, no, absolutely not. As one reviewer simply said on social media, "What has this show come to?" That is all I'm saying. You really think this show is gonna? You really think that match is gonna resemble anything a resolving a classic or whatever? No, it's not gonna resemble anything. It's gonna resemble a train wreck, honestly. Um, I'll I'll say it. I'll say it again, and I'm never gonna get tired of saying it. Jinder Mahal, or as Kurt Angle once famously botched, Jinder Mahal. This guy was. I still consider him the absolute worst WWE champion in history. That I mean, I was happy when he won it, but then as the reign progressed, I mean, yeah, okay. And I was beyond relieved when AJ took it off of him in England that November of 17. But nonetheless, this match rather, Breaker's going to retain. Let's be realistic. Come on. Stand and deliver. You got Braun Breaker as the unstoppable Hulk Smash champion going up against, presumably, Carmelo Hayes. You got to keep the belt on Breaker until then. You do that. And then I still think Melo takes the title off of him. And if that happens, then hey, Melo can say, hey, I ended this long run of Braun Breaker as the NXT champion. So it could be the start of many special moments spanning WrestleMania weekend when we get to that in the next 7 weeks or so. So no, MF, don't even the thought of Jinder Mahal walking out of this week's show as NXT champion is asinine and an absolute blasphemy. Period. And a statement and a quotation. Bullet jump in.
Yeah, come on, guys. I mean, you could have given Braun Breaker any other opponent, but Jinder Mahal or Jinder Mahal? No. I mean, I understand you're trying to build momentum for Braun Breaker when it comes to a potential title defense against Carmelo Hayes at Stand and Deliver, but come on. Anybody but Jinder Mahal. I mean, this is going to be a train wreck. This is going to be an absolute mess, and I'll even go as far as to say, if guys, and I know some people are going to disagree with me, but I'm going to say it. D-U-D dud. I mean, you really think Jinder Mahal is going to deliver a good match with Braun Breaker? Nope. I don't think so. Sorry. Just my honest opinion. It's yours, Fletch.
All right. Well, we'll see. That's all I'm going to say. We'll see what happens next week. So, with that said, we move on. NXT North American title open challenge, as it was Wesley versus Von Wagner. Wesley wins the match in 4 minutes and 42 seconds. You know what, Anthony? I'll give you this. So, Florio, it's yours. Give me your thoughts as Wesley successfully defends.
I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. Fun little sprint. Hopefully, we will get more open challenges from Wesley with the title on the line, because this felt like a waste of potential as an isolated match. It was clear that the champion has moved far past the big man as a challenger to his goal. The match was solid as both know each other well. Von Wagner continues to struggle in working with Mr. Stone. Yeah, who saw that coming? I did. NXT needs to do more, though, in the coming weeks to sell a change with Wagner and Stone to make them interesting again. Wagner repeatedly smacked the head of Lee on the announce table until he heard Stone telling him to get the champion in the ring to win. The big man nearly threw Lee out of the ring onto the announce table in a callback to the old rivalry of these men, but the champion escaped. And then backstage after the match, Stone gave Wagner another impassioned speech about opening up to him. So that's really all there is to say on this. So I'll give it a solid 2.5. It was a fun little sprint, even though it wasn't, over the top exciting. So not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, Wes Lee, still the North American champion, defeating Von Wagner in north of 5 minutes. So solid 2.5, fun little sprint.
2.5. I mean, it was a fun little sprint. I mean, it definitely could have been a lot better, but it is what it is. So I'm not going to get too much into it. It's yours, Fletch.
Von Wagner looked pretty good in defeat, but yeah, it's all about Wesley right now. Wesley is one of the bad boys in professional wrestling, no doubt about it. I'm loving the body of work. I'm loving what he's bringing to the table. So yeah, no doubt about it. Good stuff. Good match. Nothing more to say. So next up, we had Charlie Dempsey versus Hank Walker. Charlie Dempsey winning the match in 1:40. Don't need to really talk about that. That does lead us to the main event of the evening. As it was Miko Satomura and Roxanne Perez versus Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. Miko Satomura and Roxanne Perez wins the match in 10 minutes and 25 seconds. However, after the match was over, Miko got on the mic and said, "You know what? I did you a favor by taking this match because you needed a tag team partner, but now I need you to do me a favor. I would like to fight you for the NXT Women's title. Ask and you shall receive." Roxanne Perez gladly accepts the challenge. Michael Bullock, it is yours. Roxanne and Miko is winning the match in 10:25. However, next at Roadblock, it will be Miko Satomura versus Roxanne Perez. The NXT Women's title will be on the line.
And I'll tell you what, Fletch, I think this is going to be Roxanne Perez's toughest challenge.
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, because you're going up against someone like Miko Satomura, who had a pretty good reign as the NXT UK Women's Champion. I mean, especially with what she can do in the ring. I mean, Roxanne's going to have her hands full. I mean, she's definitely, but she gladly accepted it, and because she wants to prove she's a fighting champion and she's willing to take on anybody. So I'll give this about 3 stars for this main event. I mean, it was a good way to close out what I thought was another typical bleh, NXT. But man, Miko Satomura and Roxanne Perez, I think that should be something good. And yeah, it's going to be Roxanne Perez's toughest challenge to date as the NXT Women's Champion. So it is yours, Fletch.
Yeah, excellent main event. I'm so for this fight. I'm like all over it, man. I'm down with it. No doubt about it. 3.5 stars. Fight of the night for me. Great matchup, great body of work. Everything about this was solid to good. If it got 5 more minutes, we were talking really good. But you know what? I'm not gonna complain. It was still a solid fight. Great main event. And like I said, the women's title match is gonna be insane. They did this once before. Remember Roxanne Perez versus Miko Satomura because of I think this was like a pick your poison fight. And we remember Roxanne Perez did win that match back then, but Miko really, 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 really pushed her to the limit. And as a matter of fact, this was one of those matches. Actually, no, I stand corrected. Miko Satomura showed up. This is when Cora Jade was thinking, "Oh, what are you doing here? You could fight me and this and that." And Miko tossed her to the side like, "You ain't nothing. I want to fight Roxanne Perez." They had that match, and we all remember Roxanne did win the match. Oh no, wasn't it Miko who won it, Anthony? I'm trying to remember. Was it Miko or this Roxanne? No.
I'm looking into it. I don't remember who won either.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I thought Miko won it because I remember Roxanne had like a great, there was a great exchange between the two, and then Cora Jade jumped Roxanne. I remember that. So I don't remember if it was Miko who had the moment and got the victory, or if Roxanne got the victory and then Miko, because I remember Miko fought Roxanne. I just don't remember who won that. I thought it was Miko who won it.
It was back on September 6th of 2022.
All right.
That these two had the match. And I'm just now trying to find out who won that match. I believe you're right, Ahmed. I believe Miko Satomura did win that match. And so this is a chance for Roxanne Perez to even the score here.
To even the score, yep. So, but it was a solid match nonetheless. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So, Cora Jade got involved in that match too, by the way. So, this was shortly after the Worlds Collide event. Actually, hold on a minute. No, Miko did win the match. Yes. Yep, Miko won the match. Cora Jade then got involved afterwards. So yeah, Miko Satomura did win that match. So, all right. Now that we got that mystery out of the way, 3 to 3.25 stars for me. This was the second best fight of the night. I thought the Waller and Bate match was just a smidgen better. Chance and Carter had tag team chemistry on their side in this battle, but Roxanne Perez and Miko Satomura were just too good individually for them to beat them. And afterwards, Satomura challenged Perez for the women's championship, and the Prodigy gladly accepted, considering it an honor. Satomura is a legend, and the level of performance she brings to NXT is unmatched in the women's division. She brought more out of Kaden Carter than she has ever shown in their one-on-one short clashes in this match. This is not to undersell the talent of Roxanne Perez, who was equally crucial to making this a great match. She had chemistry to spare with the former NXT Tag Team Champions. It was an all-around smart tag team match that made all four look like main roster talent. Perez versus Satomura was the best women's match in NXT last year by a solid margin. And a rematch with the women's championship on the line and a bigger spotlight could be the main event of NXT's show. And I'm hearing they're doing it at that Roadblock special in a few weeks. March 7th, I believe, is the Roadblock special on the USA Network. And I think that's when they're doing it. Early in the night, Carter and Chance apologized for their attitude, wanting to fight with honor in the main event. Carter knocked out Perez with a running boot in the rope, setting up Chance for a hanging leg drop for a near fall. And then Chance dove onto Perez outside. Then Carter aided her in hitting a Frankensteiner on Satomura. 2 went for their finisher, but the final boss fought out. 3 to 3.25 stars for me. Second best fight of the night. So not much more for me to say. Michael Bullock, Satomura and Perez winning the match. And now, Roxanne Perez versus Miko Satomura.
I actually led off, Mario.
Yeah, he led off. He led off. That's all right, no problem. No, it's not. Yeah, and besides that, I kind of threw a sidebar at you to try to wonder about who won certain matches and whatnot. So I kind of threw you off the track. That's my bad. All in all, yeah, I'm with you guys. This was not a good NXT. That was a back to reality type. I could give it maybe 5 out of 10. That was and I might be even being generous with that rating. Yeah, there was a couple of good matches here and there, so I'm not gonna poo-poo too hard all over it. Would I be surprised if that rating was even lower? No. But at the end of the day, did it fine. It was all right, I guess, but nah, man. I mean, I was thoroughly disappointed and somewhat a little bored. I mean, that's all I'm gonna say about it. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours. 5 out of 10 for me.
Well, then I'll do the Bret Hart not impressed meme on Mean Gene Okerlund. 4 out of 10 for me. It was almost a carbon copy of last week's show. I mean, great opener, great main event, everything else in between. Yeah, no. A couple of good things here and there, but that's really it. If you're pressed for time, go out of your way to see Tyler Bate versus Grayson Waller, and go out of your way to see the main event. Everything else, it's not required viewing, if I'm going to be honest with you. So Bullock wanted the Bret Hart not impressed. I'll give it to him. 4 out of 10 for me. So not much more for me to say. Bullock, you got a couple of big shows coming up. You got a Roblox special on the USA Network on March 7th. You got Stand and Deliver coming up. I guess they could get away with this nonsense for another little bit, but eventually they got to wake up, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, they need to wake up, because now I can see why Derek Ferreira doesn't watch this show, because it is just, I mean, yes, you have some good stuff here and there, but other than that, everything else it's just so full of crap. I mean, everybody was thinking, oh, NXT is going to get better, especially now that they're back to now that they changed things, they got rid of the 2.0. Yeah, where was that change? It's not there. I mean, they've had its moments, but most of the time, it is just bad, bad, bad. So, Shawn Michaels and the rest of NXT, you need to wake up and fix this crap, because if you don't do that, I'm going to continue to poo-poo all over this. I don't care how long I have to do it. And don't be surprised if Derek or anybody else from the IWC poo-poos all over it continuously. So 4 out of 10. Let's get on to something better. That is AEW Dynamite.
All right. With that said, let's get right into AEW Dynamite. With that said, we started off with an 8-man tag team fight, as it was Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh. He went up against Orange Cassidy, Bart Gunn, and the Acclaim. When it was all said and done, winners of the bout in 9 minutes and 21 seconds was Bart Gunn, Orange Cassidy, and the Acclaim. All right, solid opener, good matchup. I could say this was about 2.5 to 3. I thought it was solid, good wrestling, but I'm not gonna say it was overly anything special. I mean, it did what it needed it to do. It serviced what it needed it to service. But at the end of the day, this match, it kind of really didn't do anything for me. I mean, it was a solid match, but I felt like it was kind of a little bit of a dull opener to the show. And why was this the show opener? It's beyond me. I think they messed it up. This should not have opened the show. I'll talk about what match should have opened in a minute, but Florio, it's yours.
I think I know where you're going with that one, but MF, correction time. I know you hate it when I have to correct you, but in this case, I have to. You said Bart Gunn. You meant Billy Gunn.
Billy Gunn, yeah.
Got Bart Gunn on your mind there, MF?
Yeah, like you said, long day.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Trust me. But anywho, Billy Gunn, not Bart Gunn, along with the Acclaimed and Orange Cassidy, did win this match in just north of 9.5 minutes. Okay. The win helped rehab the Acclaimed a week after the controversial loss of the AEW World Tag Team Championship, something it needed in order to wash the bad taste of last week's show closing bout out of the mouths of fans. Sanjay Dutt taking the pin did nothing to hurt the credibility of the heels, instead keeping them just strong enough to remain threats to anyone they may stand across the ring from. It was the performance of Jeff Jarrett, though, that was most inspiring. Of course, we all know, as we started the show with here tonight, Jeff's father, Jerry Jarrett, was a hugely significant and influential presence in professional wrestling history, and losing him just 24 hours earlier had to be devastating. And to then go out and perform without missing a beat or being visibly affected was special. It was likely therapeutic, an opportunity to do something that brought the family together for as long as it did. And kudos to Jarrett for pulling it off, and everyone involved for bringing energy to the night's opener. Caster paid homage to the late Jarrett by calling him a legend before cutting a scathing rap on his opponents. And unafraid, Orange Cassidy came eye to sternum with Singh in a fun moment. The new champions, the Guns, appeared on the stage, providing a momentary distraction that allowed Jeff Jarrett to seize control of the bout for the heels. And then Anthony Bowens delivered Sesame Timbers after teases from Billy Gunn and Orange Cassidy. So I'll give it a solid 3 for the effort. So not much more to say here. Bullock, I know MF said it was not, it was a so-so opener, fine opener, whatever. But let's at least take a moment and acknowledge and praise Jeff Jarrett, because he very easily could have pulled out of this thing to mourn and grieve over the sudden passing of his father. He very easily could have done that, but Jarrett, being the professional that he's always been and will be, he went out there, and he still went out there and wrestled this match. I mean, if it was any of us, it would have been ridiculously hard, especially me, because hello, you guys know what happened to me 10 months ago. You know that story. I'm not rehashing that. Yeah. But if it was me the day after, if I was wrestling like a Monday Night Raw or something, if I was scheduled for a match, I would have done the exact same. I would have done the exact same thing Jeff Jarrett would have done, even though it definitely would have been hard. But I would have done my job as the professional. So, but credit to Jeff Jarrett nonetheless. So, Michael Bullock, come on in. 3-star bout, about 9.5 minutes. Face team wins, but credit where credit is due to Jeff Jarrett. Like I said, he very easily could have pulled out, but no, he still wrestled, and I think we all know the reason why, because I'm sure it was I'm sure it's what his daddy would have wanted.
Yeah, I'm going to give it 3 as well, just because of that. I mean, Jeff Jarrett could have. I mean, you definitely got to give kudos to Jeff Jarrett. I mean, he could have just said. He could have just said, "I'm not going to be here tonight. I want to be with my family." But I guess he actually had a conversation with Tony Khan before the show, and he said, and I think he basically told Tony Khan, I wanna compete. I want to be here tonight." And Tony Khan said, "I will respectfully respect Jeff Jarrett's decision." And yeah, I mean, he wrestled, I mean, with a heavy heart, and just because of that, I mean, it's definitely worth taking credit for it. So definitely, I'm gonna give it 3 stars. I mean, it was a fine match. Could have been better. Absolutely, it could have been, but I'm not gonna really, really poo-poo all over it like Fletch did. But so there's really nothing more to say. It is yours, Fletch.
Well, the match that I truly believe should have started the show, Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli versus Preston Vance and Rush in a tornado tag team match, and it was the Blackpool Combat Club, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli winning the match in 11 minutes and 32 seconds. Florio, it's yours.
This to me was the fight of the night, if I'm going to be honest with you. And I agree. I mean, you always want to start the show off with a big time match. The last match, you know, could have benefited from being like middle of the show or whatever. But here, this was to me the fight of the night. Like I said, I'm going to give this about 3.5, teetering on 3 3/4 of a star. The match was like the opener, a fun and energetic bout. Vance and Rush looked good. There was a fun spot with Wheeler Yuta fighting off Jose, the assistant, to keep things fair, and the baby faces went over. Relatively unrelated to anything outside of the heels barricading Bryan Danielson in his locker room last week. This was a suitable use of Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli while giving the underutilized heels something of note to do. With Moxley being the only one with an obvious path to Revolution, though, one has to wonder if this would not have been better utilized to set something up for the other 3 involved. But and I forgot to mention, there was something I forgot to mention when it came to that last match regarding the tag team titles. There's going to be a fatal 4-way tag team title match at a Revolution. It'll be the Guns versus the Acclaimed versus the winners of 2 battle royales. There's going to be a traditional tag team battle royale next week. And then the week after, they're going to do a casino tag team battle royale. And those 2 teams, the 2 winners, will then join the Guns and the Acclaimed in that 4-way tag match for the World Tag Team Championship at Revolution. And Moxley, he's got a match at Revolution, but we're going to save that for after. But this was 3.5, 3 3/4 of a star fight of the night for me. So not much more for me to say here. So Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll give it about 3.5, 3 3/4 as well. I mean, this to me, I thought was the fight of the night. I mean, definitely a good tornado tag team match. I mean, we saw a lot of things in this match. We saw some blood in this, and so yeah, I mean, this was definitely and Fletch is right. I mean, this definitely should have started the show, but you know, it is what it is. So it's yours, Fletch.
Gee, Jon Moxley and blood. Color me surprised here, gentlemen. Nah, this was definitely a great match. No doubt about it.
Blood, surprised? I think not.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. That's the Bret Hart. I'm not impressed type meme there. But the thing is that no, it was a great match. I'm not going to be that kind of guy. It was a 3.5 star fight. It was the fight of the night. It was excellent. It was amazing. Um, there was really nothing more to add. So We'll move on. Next up, we had was Josh Woods. He went 1-on-1 with Mark Briscoe. Yes, Mark Briscoe is back in AEW again. Another appearance for him. He gets another win. 8 minutes and 55 seconds, man. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
I thought this was a solid match here. I'll give this about maybe 2 3/4, maybe teetering on 3 with this one. But yeah, what can you say about Mark Briscoe? Back in AEW, especially after the passing of his brother Jay Briscoe, and of course that emotional match he had with Jay Lethal, and guys, I can officially confirm I saw on their Instagram page AEW, it is official, gentlemen. Mark Briscoe is all elite. So, all I can say is what a moment for him. And somewhere Jay Briscoe must be smiling and proud of his brother. So, kudos to you, Mark Briscoe. So, it is yours, Fletch.
Yeah, Mark has been killing it, man. He's been amazing. He's been doing some incredible stuff lately, and no doubt about it. I like the body of work that he brings to the table. I like what he does. Yeah, there's really nothing more to say. His legend is growing, and he's getting better and better each and every time out. So there's really nothing more to say. 2 3/4 to 3. Anthony, it's yours.
I'll give it a solid 3. As a showcase for Mark Briscoe, this worked. He was in there with a guy in Josh Woods with whom he had worked before and felt comfortable with. Was the in-ring action off the charts? No, but it was solid, consistent, and delivered some quality work from both men. Briscoe winning was absolutely the right call, helping him notch another victory while allowing him to build momentum. It is too early to go there now, but do not be surprised if Briscoe gets over, stays over, and manages to share the ring with MJF, maybe for the world title at some point in the future, if for no other reason than the fact that the heat would be off the proverbial charts. Ray Phoenix and Penta Ziedo Miedo hit the ring to fend off the interfering Tony Nese. Woods used the Chaos Theory but could not defeat Briscoe. It was the same finisher Woods utilized to defeat Jay Briscoe, the late Jay Briscoe, back during their days in the original Ring of Honor. And Briscoe looked into the camera and vowed to carry on for his late brother's memory. Solid 3 stars for the effort. Sleeper fight of the night. I didn't think this was going to be anything special, but then again, I didn't know there was history with these two guys. I guess MF might know that a little better than I do. But
it actually does stem back a little bit from the days of Ring of Honor.
All right. So solid 3 stars for me. It's the sleeper fight of the night. I didn't really think this was going to be much of anything, but pleasant surprise. So not much more to say. Let's move on.
Yeah, nothing more to say. Like you said, this was solid. This was good. And then we had, we had a promo segment by MJF, interrupted by Christopher Daniels. I thought they did a really good job with it, so there's really nothing more to add there. But now we can say the next match that we did have was Jungle Boy Jack Perry. He went up against Brian Cage. Jack Perry does win the match, 7 minutes and 28 seconds, but then got got jumped after the match was over by the one and only Christian Cage. He makes a return. So Christian Cage comes back, pays Jungle Boy a little bit of a takedown. I guess the rivalry is back. They're back on it, guys. So the rivalry is back. Jungle Boy and Christian Cage at it again. Really nothing more to say. So solid match. Another 2.5 stars. Anthony, it's yours.
2.5. About 2.5, 2 3/4. All right. All right. Despite physically dominating the contest, Brian Cage succumbed to a roll-up as Jungle Boy earned a win that will allow him to continue his pursuit of championship gold in AEW until Christian Cage returned and maced his former pupil, then dropped him with the kill switch on the stage, resuming a rivalry that began months ago but was put on pause due to injury. Perry is an interesting case in that it often feels like Tony Khan has all intention to push him, but does not necessarily know exactly what that looks like. There was the pairing with Hook that ended unceremoniously and without warning. He has floated around aimlessly besides that, with his latest run dedicated to winning an individual championship. Now Christian is back, seemingly derailing that story in order to go backward to a story that never had a proper conclusion either. The booking for Jungle Boy is all over the place, but he remains over with audiences, softening the blow. Hopefully he can use the Christian feud to propel him to the next level, as one would have to imagine was the intention in the first place. Perry launched himself over the top rope at Brian Cage, only to be caught and powerbombed on the ring apron instead. And after the match, Christian Cage's return signaled the resumption of his feud with the young star. So there's not much more for me to add on this. 2.5 stars, maybe 2 3/4 at best for this. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, Christian's back. The Jungle Boy Christian feud's back on. I think a return match with these two is definitely in order for the earliest possible date. And I think that earliest possible date is Sunday night, March the 5th, Chase Center, San Francisco, Revolution.
Yeah, 2.5, 2 3/4. I mean, I do agree. I mean, it was another solid match. I mean, definitely continues to give Jungle Boy Jack Perry some momentum. But yeah, he thought that after this match, he was going to be in search of some championship gold, but as the great Lee Corso would say, not so fast, my friend, because somebody's coming to the dinner table, and that's the return of Christian Cage, and he's going to have to put those championship thoughts on hold because he's got some unfinished business with Christian that never really got going because of his injury. So, and I do see this match going down at Revolution. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. It is yours, Fletch.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Next up that we did have right after this, it was Kip Sabian going one-on-one with Adam Hangman Page. Hangman wins the match in 6 minutes and 54 seconds. Then come out Jon Moxley and the Blackpool Combat Club. And, well, yeah, we got ourselves another Texas death match at Revolution, as it was going to be Jon Moxley versus Adam Hangman Page. That Texas death match confirmed for Revolution. Anthony Florio, if there's going to be the ultimate kill-off or the ultimate end to this storyline, man, what a way this is going to go.
This is definitely the blow-off right here, no doubt about it. Another 2.5 stars for the match. Kip Sabian was never really presented as a threat to beat Hangman, especially since the majority of his heat portion of the bout occurred during the timeout. That the commentary team actually pointed out the career downturn that has occurred due to injury. It does beg the question, how did anyone expect Sabian to be treated like a viable option to beat Hangman when he never wins? Nor has he ever been presented at that level. It was all for naught as Page won, and then the real purpose for the segment reared its head as Jon Moxley, Wheeler Yuta, and Claudio Castagnoli made their way to the ring. Moxley cut a promo on Hangman. Dark Order appeared and took exception. And the former world champion formerly challenged Hangman to a Texas death match at Revolution, which will be damn good and a potential show stealer. And the question is whether Sabian really needed to be beaten down and jobbed out in a match that was transparent from the start. The answer? Probably not. But the strength of his character and overall credibility really is not the point of any of this. Sabian taunted Page with a cowboy hat prior to the bout, then ate a big right hand as the bell rang. Page blinked, checking on his eye after the bell, and Excalibur obnoxiously sold it as some sort of internal issue. Yes, he was observant, but it was a bit of an over-the-top explanation for something that could have easily been an eyelash. Page took exception to his last match with Moxley ending via a roll-up. Dark Order ain't afraid of you. Evil Uno is not afraid of Jon Moxley, Uno said as the group confronted the Blackpool Combat Club in defense of Hangman. And then Cowboy, Revolution, Texas Death, Moxley said, formally issuing the challenge for the pay-per-view. Look at that. I mean, we all know MJF and Danielson in that Iron Man match is the main event, but now we've got a more than adequate number 2 right here. this is the other. We got a double main event now, guys.
Yep.
Iron Man match, MJF and Danielson for the World Heavyweight Championship, and now this with Jon Moxley and Hangman Adam Page, Texas Death Match. Oh my goodness, that definitely just sold some buys right there. So if that didn't, I don't know what will. So 2.5 stars for this match. Predictable outcome. Michael Bullock, obvious outcome when it comes to this match, but dude, Jon Moxley, Hangman Adam Page, Texas Death Match, number two match right behind MJF and Danielson's Iron Man.
Yeah, 2.5 stars. I mean, Kip Sabian never really was a threat to Adam Hangman Page. I mean, it was a nice victory for the Hangman, but yeah, Jon Moxley comes out to confront him, and basically, yep, we got another encounter between these two. But it's going to be in a Texas Death Match, and Fletch, what do you think? Gee, I wonder what are we going to see in a Texas Death Match?
Oh, come on, Michael Bullock. You know it's going to be guaranteed blood.
You know I'm being sarcastic.
I know, and I'm trying to be sarcastic right back. So yeah, it's guaranteed blood. It's going to be a bloodbath. We all know Crimson Mask is coming. If there ain't going to be no Crimson Mask, then what's the point for that match?
How many of those have you seen in your lifetime, MF?
Oh God, Florio. I mean that. Yeah, the list is too damn long for me to even.
Yeah, if you're not gonna have blood in a Texas Death Match, then what's the point of it?
Yeah. So
I mean,
no, I get it, guys.
But yeah, it's definitely gonna be. I mean, we all know the match that's gonna steal the show at Revolution. It's obviously gonna be the 60-minute Iron Man, but this match is definitely going to be a close second, no doubt about it. So
yeah.
So there's really nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah. So now we do move on to the main event of the evening. Triple threat. Yeah. A triple threat match. Ruby Soho, Britt Baker, and Toni Storm. Ruby Soho winning the match in 10 minutes and 1 second. I believe this goes to Anthony. So, Anthony, you lead off on this. So, Ruby Soho gets the win.
How long was that again?
10 minutes and 1 second.
10:01.
Yeah.
All right. I would probably say second best fight of the night here. I'll give this about 3, maybe 3.25. An action-packed main event saw a late interference by Saraya backfire as her involvement did not lead to partner Toni Storm winning, but rather provided a distraction that allowed Ruby Soho to score the win. After the match, the victorious Ruby Soho found herself in the middle of a shouting match between the women's champion, Jamie Hayter, Dr. Britt Baker's friend, and Saraya. Her allegiances again calling the question as the show went off the air. It was damn fun to see Ruby pick up another win on television. There for the longest time, she felt like a talent who was over and really good in the ring, but could not secure consistent wins in order to build momentum. She finally has now, and the question becomes whether there is any room for growth or if she is a creative pawn in a story destined to come back around to Saraya and Britt Baker once more. Storm and Saraya jumped a ringside fan and threatened to spray paint her until Soho's music played, and Ruby made the save. With Ruby on the floor, Baker and Storm teed off on one another. Saraya broke up Baker's attempt at the lockjaw on Soho, while Storm delivered a tornado DDT on the women's champion, Jamie Hayter, on the floor. And Soho found herself in the middle of an argument between Saraya and Hayter, cutting off her celebration. This was a 3 to 3.25 star match, main event to close it out. Second best fight of this show. And we all know what the end game is. I mean, there's a rumor going around saying that all of this could end up leading into the first ever women's blood and guts match down the road. I don't think it's going to be Revolution. It could be on a Dynamite, or then again, maybe they could end up saving it for Double or Nothing, Memorial Day weekend, perhaps. I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. But that's definitely what the end game is in all of this. So 3 3.25. So Michael Bullock, hey, break up Ruby Soho. Ruby Soho's has started a little something called a winning streak here.
Yeah, she's got a little bit of a winning streak going on, and that's something we haven't seen from Ruby in a long time. So 3-3 and a quarter. I mean, this is the solid main event, and well, first off, guys, I mean, I feel for that fan who got pulled out of there by Saraya and Tony Storm, who, I mean, they were about ready to
any chance that might have been a plant?
I think she was.
I think so too.
I think so too. I think that might have been a local wrestler from the local area. I could check. I could see if I can get the identity.
Yeah, why don't you check it up to see if that was a local indie wrestler or if that was an actual fan? Because if that
I don't think it would be an actual fan. I don't think Tony Khan and AEW would be that stupid to do something like that.
Yeah, and the thing is, if that really was a fan, I think that fan could not only sue Tony Khan, but Saraya and Tony Storm.
I'm pretty sure that was a plant. I'm pretty sure it's a plant.
Yeah, it could be that, but like you said, I'm sure Fletch, you're gonna look that up to see if that's a local indie wrestler that was dressed up as a fan. So yeah, I mean, once again, this is all about where Ruby Soho stands. Is she with the originals or the outsiders? But I think the seeds are going to be planted for a blood and guts match between the originals and the outsiders. We all know that Saraya is going to lead the way for the outsiders and Dr. Britt Baker for the originals. What the teams are going to look like, well, we already know that it's going to be Tony Storm on when it comes to the outsiders, and for the originals, it will be the women's champion Jamie Hayter. So who else will join in? We'll have to wait and see as this goes on. So 3 and a quarter. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have the identity right now. Of that person, if that was a plant or not. Obviously we will keep you posted if there is anything about that. At the end of the day, I'm gonna give it 7 out of 10. I mean, yeah, there was some good stuff out of it. I enjoyed the show. I just wasn't, it was better than NXT. Definitely. But I'll say this. 411 gave it a 6.5. I disagree with that. I thought it was better than that. 7 is my official rating for AEW. And let me tell you, if you look at the poll on ProWrestling.net, it's all over the place. Some of it called it an average show. Some of it's calling it a terrible show. Like that, I mean, it is all over the place. So there's definitely a mixed bag. I don't know if there's just genuine haters of AEW right now that's attacking, but I don't know. But 7 out of 10 is my rating. Anthony, it's yours.
7 out of 10 for me as well. I kind of echo that sentiment a little bit. I mean, usually AEW Dynamite is usually a loaded show, a stacked show, an exciting show. But I can only call this a solid show. I mean, it wasn't as overly spectacular as we had been seeing over the last several weeks and months. But I kind of felt like they kind of it wasn't a blowaway effort like we're used to. In a sense, if I'm going to be honest with you, it kind of felt like a Wednesday version of Rampage, if I'm going to be honest with you. It had the feel of a Rampage almost with some of the matches that were booked tonight. Going in, I'll be honest, I wasn't really all that excited about this show here totnight, with the exception of that tornado tag match, because I had a good feeling about that one, and I'm not at all surprised that stole the damn show, and it did. The other match, other than those matches, other than that match in particular, the other ones were just solid to good at best. So 7 out of 10. I think that's the appropriate rating. So with that, Bullet, take it home.
Yeah, 7 out of 10. It was good, not great. I'll say that, but I'm not gonna go as far as terrible as some of the people are saying. But you know what? Everybody has a right to their opinion on it. So with that being said, Fletch, let's call it a night and set the table for tomorrow night's TXN Sports World.
Yes, indeed. We got a TXN Sports World, and boys, we are gonna go wild on this one. We started off with the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 57 in the bag. We have ourselves a new champion in the National Football League. We'll repeat that. We'll cover that. Then after that, we will have an update. We have all of the winners from the NFL honors, including some new
Yep. I agree.
NFL honors, and also the newest inductees to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We'll have that. We got some. We got to recap the NHL All Star Game and the All Star Weekend. We got some NBA news. We got some draft, some trading deadline news. We'll get into the most significant ones, not all of them, but the most significant. And yes, the big three is coming back. We're going to talk about it. And on top of that, guys, instead of it being just in local, like couple of areas, no, they're going nationwide. They're going big time. I got all the cities, all the locations, all of the arenas and everything else. And one very special location where the big three is going to be held. Yes, it's in New York, but not in Madison Square Garden and not at the Barclays. You're thinking, huh? Wait a minute. Not at the Barclays, not at MSG. Where's it going to be? Let's just say this is a place that AEW has gone to once before. I'm leaving it at that. I'm not saying anymore because I don't want to give it away. Florio probably already knows where I'm talking now. Anyway.
And then finally to close out the show, a double main event from the NBA. LeBron James, the new leading all-time scorer in NBA history.
Yep.
Take a moment to acknowledge him. And then in the main event, we will preview NBA All-Star Weekend, All-Star Saturday night, and the All-Star Game itself from Salt Lake City, Utah, the home of the Jazz.
Yes, indeed. And we're going to have a lot of fun with that as well. So, guys, we're out of here. We'll see you tomorrow night, 10:30 Eastern, on the Tone 25, YouTube and StreamYard.com. For all of us here, for Michael Bullock, for Anthony Floyo, I'm Michael Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow night.